You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the Dangerous Liberty Podcast, where we know that safety at the expense of liberty is indeed slavery. For those of you just tuning in right now, welcome. We love when you join us live. And of course, if you're watching this after, we definitely encourage you to start joining us live so that you can participate in the conversation. We talk about guns, gear, training, politics, conspiracy theories, you name it. We cover it. So, Chris, how was your 2 weeks?
Not as good as yours.
Well,
you had a blast, it seemed like. I wish I was out there.
We had a good time. We definitely have a good time. Jason, how was your week?
Pretty good. I was definitely jealous you were at SHOT Show and I couldn't be there for sure. So that stings in my heart.
Maybe next year we'll get both of you guys out there.
Hooray!
We'll get you out.
I'm in.
We definitely had a busy week at SHOT Show. I thought it'd be fun to just kind of do a review of that. Unfortunately, Summer had to, we got kids. They really put a cramp in things. They're kind of deteriorating the quality of our life. But no, we got some wrestling events that Noah is going to. And unfortunately, he needed someone to drive him there. I said he could just walk, but whatever, I guess. It's still cold out and it's like 30 miles away. It is what it is. No, we had a great week at SHOT Show, and I definitely want to convey some of the things that we saw out there. I know many of you probably have some questions. Talk about some of the new products that we picked up while we're out there. I think those are pretty exciting. But yeah, so let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. We got Jason Sponsler up there, John Hopin, Evil Freaks up there, Mike Hen, Alaska Andy, Jeff Hahn, Kevin Juby, Jeff Misspook over there. And who else we got? I think that covers it. If you haven't said hello, jump in there and say hello to us so we can recognize you. And again, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, we got Jose Torres. Who else?
We got Hully and Otter over on
Rumble. Our lost boys. Our lost boys Rumble over there. We got Bravo Force Solutions, Mike over there. Yeah, we got a lot to discuss. So we did have a fun week, man. It seemed like the days were long while you were in it, but it's like 1 minute you're showing up to the show, the next minute it's over. I mean, it's one of those strange things, but it went by fast. It was fun. I mean, it was literally kind of exactly what I expected it to be overall.
I was told that if you walk down every aisle and go to every booth, it's about 13 miles.
I 100% believe that.
Was that your first time there?
This is my first time.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I 100% believe that. I bet, we were averaging like 22,000 steps a day while we were there. And I bet you we saw about 30% of it. I know there was many halls that I never went down. And then you end up going back, and we'll talk a lot about that. I know there's some questions. Why didn't you cover this or why didn't you cover that? And we'll talk a little bit about some of the logistical challenges when it comes to actually filming on the floor and getting information on film about different products and things like that. Kind of want to share that experience with you guys.
Yeah, I was interested in that when you were telling me about Iron Stumick, right?
No, say he didn't even change my name tonight.
What's that?
Up there it says Gary and Summer.
Oh,
no respect.
Well, you're not as pretty.
No, dude, I don't have my leopard print on.
You get to be Summer tonight.
Yeah,
give me a wig.
But I, when I called you up and we were talking about like, hey, what's it like being there doing the interviews and stuff like that? I was really interested. I was like, it was eye opening to what you have to do or how it is to be like get media going on there.
Yeah. So one of the things, and I knew it would be so, but I know also like. From a lot of people's perspectives, they don't realize this. So, for instance, let's take Daniel Defense just as an instance. One of the things I wanted to do was get a video interview on the H9 as well as their new PCC.
Yeah.
And I went back to that booth probably a total of 5 times where, you show up there and there's like, they usually have like one guy assigned per product. And that one guy is like, they got 40 people around him at any one time. So it's a matter of, finding the right time where you're not going like pushing through and trying to isolate that one dude to talk about this one product. So that was one of the biggest challenges, right? Was actually getting the FaceTime and getting it to where any one product that you're interested in you weren't completely overwhelmed by the crowd. And then there was definitely some of the Holosun products that I was very interested in getting detailed information straight from the source. And like every time you went there, just, there's throngs of people. There's no way to get a camera in there, and there's no way to, to isolate one guy to give you some info on that.
Sure, those are great projects that everyone wants to hear about.
So did you take like one of your nice cameras and then just take your Rode wireless mics?
So I took both nice cameras. What I use for I think 2 of the days for interviews was the DJI Pocket 3, which I love that thing. That thing is great. You can hook up 2 cameras wirelessly to it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like some of the slow-mo footage. So like day 3 and 4, I ended up bringing the A7 IV, which is a larger rig, and I put it on a gimbal. It's definitely a little bit better footage, but that DJI Pocket 3 for doing what I need to do most of it. And that's what I filmed. I did all. If you guys definitely go check out the videos.
Yeah, they're great actually.
Everybody needs to watch them. Obviously go check out our videos. But I was also glad to be there. Me and Ray hung out a lot. Ray Helms from X-Ring, and I helped him out. So all that footage that is on his channel came from the DJI Pocket 3, and that little camera is just awesome.
You just backpacked everything in every day.
Yep. Just
always wondered, what you had to do for all that.
Most of the days, I just brought literally the DJI Pocket 3 fits in your hand, and then I had a couple mics in my pocket. The last 2 days where I was like, I want a little bit better footage. There was a couple things that like the slow-mo B-roll and things like that the A7 IV does better. But it's crazy to see. What was crazy for me was crazy to see some of these other channels like Classic Firearms and stuff like that. They got like crews of like 15 people.
Oh yeah, I was trying as I was watching their videos, like seeing what they went to, like I was like, those guys have to have so many people editing these videos.
Yeah,
right.
No,
and like
they probably those dudes are sitting in the hotel room. They're sending them the footage and saying, "Here, go," so they can get it out.
Well,
sure.
Well, they're not sending them the footage because there's no way to beam over that. They may hand off
or they're dropping off their SD cards outside. Yeah, and say, "Here, go."
Well, and even to get out the videos that I did, I was literally staying at the show till about 5 o'clock. Then there was always some sort of engage. We were going to dinner with this person or these people. We got to hang out with the crew from Fat Boy, which was great. It was great to meet Connor and Casey, the owners of Fat Boy, in person.
They seem like cool dudes.
Super cool dudes. So we were always doing something tonight, and then I get home I get back to the hotel like 10 o'clock, and I was staying up till like 5 a.m.
editing at the table at the desk,
just editing videos and pumping those out. Then I go to sleep for like 3 hours. I get back up at 8.
Everybody else snoozing.
And then we do it all over again. So,
and Bravo 4 Solutions, you're welcome. I just got this shirt. It's Eagles in Space. because America.
You're at Elon, you got Talon.
Chris went back in time to 1984.
when I was born.
He went to the flea market. You could actually get that, and then you could actually get the same image put on your van as well. If you
that would be sick with a little round window in the back.
The AC
free candy on one side.
I'm gonna get a PTS logo on the back of this one. Somebody's got to get an iron on.
Let's see. We got some questions up there. No, I did not attend range day. We decided to skip range. I kind of wish I had. There was 2 range days. One that they were trying to get us into. We're working some things with Beretta, which really. Anyways, we're supposed to go to a range day with Beretta. They were trying to get me in at the last moment, and there's only so much room on the bus, so I didn't get to go do that. That was the one that I was interested in. The other range day for SHOT, I could have went, but we actually met my mom and my dad there. So those were the days we kind of took a couple days for the family. I do wish I would have went, because then I could have filmed for Ray and he could have filmed for me. I know he was a little frustrated, being out there by himself and not being able to film very much. Next time we'll coordinate.
Sounds like you need more of us.
We definitely do. And again, a lot of these other channels, they have full film crews, editing staff, all that other stuff, which is good for them. Can't wait till we get to a point where, I'm not having to do any of that stuff. That'd be great.
Well, I'm not doing it. Don't look at me.
Oh, no. I would want it done right. So
not having ambulance noises in the background.
Jason would have all these weird flippity floppy transitions.
Like the old school PowerPoints where it like flips towards.
Oh,
you.
yeah.
It would be
He would
magical.
incorporate-
It would be magical, and you would love it.
All these Comic Sans fonts in there.
Yeah.
Wingdings.
All kinds of silly sound effects. It'd be a riot.
He is a silly guy.
Let's see. Yeah, start throwing up some of these questions, Jason. Go through there so I'm not. Oh dear God. Do some producing, Jason. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no doubt.
Throw up some questions and quit making me read the small versions of them.
Oh, okay. Here you go. Did you attend range day?
Already.
I couldn't help myself.
Go up a little bit. Now
Yeah.
Stefan was asking about the Swordens, and a couple other folks were too. Yeah, so the Swordens, we're gonna get some of the T2s in. I'm not even sure. I've looked for the prices on those folks. I don't even think they've published those yet, and I'm not exactly sure when the exact release date is. Again, it was one of those things. Number one, the Sword and Supremes, which you can get for like $230, $240, depending on what model and all the other stuff that you get. By far, I can't even tell you the amount of different ear pro that I've purchased. You name it, the in-ear pro, multiple sets of different over-the-ear ear pro. And Jason knows, having to work ranges like ear pro when you're on the range all day, every day. It's a huge deal. Now, for like the average consumer that spends a couple hours in the range, it's probably not a big deal if you're going to use the Caldwells or whatever else is out there. Those probably work just fine. But the other part of this is, making sure that we have some ear pro that we can attach to helmets, and for that you're going to want quality stuff. So Sworden is definitely there. We're also an OpsCore dealer, and OpsCore just got the contract. I haven't tested their ear pro as well, and they have the SOCOM contract. I forgot what the name of their ear pro is. We had a full demo of them while we're there, and the guy at the booth, I was like, you mind if I film this? He's like, oh, no, I can't. He wasn't into it. And that's another thing that you run into a lot was, people that weren't comfortable just being on film. And it is what it is. But we'll definitely be getting some of those. I definitely wore them and tested those out while they were there. Felt nice. I didn't feel like they were as good as the Sworden T2s, the Sworden Supremes that I already have. They don't even feel like you're wearing ear pro as far as sound goes. And you can hear in a stereoscopic fashion, just like you would without any ear pro. All of those over the ear pro do get hot in the summer. That's just one of the things that you're gonna get used to or not. And I do like the fact that the Swordens are so low profile, like I can use them on my long guns or shooting an AR or anything else. A lot of times when I have students show up with some of the larger ear pro, even when they're going to mount the rifle, just shooting an AR, it starts bumping that thing out of the way because it's so large. And I end up switching out with them and letting them use my Swordens. So, both of those are potential. We can carry both of those, and we probably will.
I always say, like, if you are an avid shooter and you're going to be on the range, right, not only shooting or maybe teaching or doing both, you definitely need over-the-ear headphones because the in-the-ear one, everyone knows you got a bone behind your head. Well, like sound can transfer.
You have a bone behind your head.
Well, a bone behind your ear, right? That picks up vibration and goes towards your ear canal, right? So you can pick up sound through that, right? So
it's a good show.
If you don't have over the ear protection to block that bone from picking up those vibrations, the sound is still getting to your ear.
You heard it here first, folks.
God,
you heard it here first.
It's a tough crowd.
You could have picked anything else.
And that, folks, is science.
I mean,
So, yeah. So what I can tell you, I don't know what the T2s are going to cost at the moment.
Yeah,
will
I
get
just
you-
looked them up. They don't have a price.
No, there's none. We will be getting some of those in, and we will have full disclosure of prices and all that other good stuff. We are going to be getting some of the Sword and Supremes in sooner. What I can tell you is the Ops Pro, the Ops Gear Ear Pro. I know those are like $1,400 a set. So, but those have a lot of comms capabilities, and of course the Swordens do too. Anyways, so we'll have that, and you'll be able to figure out, hey, which ones are for me if you want to spend the. And I'll tell you, even if you're a recreational shooter, and of course we do other things like run chainsaws, other equipment that Ear Pro is very handy with.
Oh,
Once you put a good set of Ear Pro on, you'll never go back to the cheap $100 ones. And honestly, the Sword and Supremes are like $230, $240, depending on which ones you get. Is a set of Ear Pro that you're going to use for a lifetime. They're going to last you a lifetime, and I think are well worth the investment. Ronnie Vinson, did you see the new Caldwell Veloci radar? If so, what were your thoughts on it? I did not see that. I'm assuming that is a chronograph, like the. I did see very briefly the new lab radar. The lab radar's answer to, the Garmin. I'm trying to get them to send me a demo model. We are a dealer for them. I think they will. That we can do some comparison.
same size or comparable size?
It's a comparable size. I just think they're going to have a hard time competing with the usability of that Garmin, but we'll definitely give it a fair shot and see how that goes.
McSpook, I'm blocking, trying to get me fired over here.
Well,
Sorry, Jason.
With the Garmin, you can just throw it in your back pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll say
Just a tick bigger than a GoPro.
The lab radar is it's a little bit wider, front to back, but it's a comparable size. I would like to see what other features are integrated in that, and maybe there's some different features in there that may be a little bit more useful. There are some things on the lab radar, like being able to put spit out the spreadsheets and things like that you really can't do on the Garmin. You can essentially do it from the app. You have all that information there. You can get to it the same way, but
Could you like export it to a PDF, then print it, then like from the Garmin?
Well, from the Garmin you could export it. No, not from the Garmin. I don't know of any way to export it in that manner. You can look at it.
But you're saying on Lab Radar you can't.
On the Lab Radar, you can. It has an SD card. You throw it, and you can actually export it as a spreadsheet. And you can play around with all those numbers, which is really handy. And you can do a little bit of exporting on some things. There's just some features on the Lab Radar that I do wish were on the Garmin. But I mean, I think for
easy they could do too, because that'd just be with the software based.
It is. and honestly, I haven't played around with that enough on the Garmin. I'm probably speaking out of turn. Maybe you can easily do that, but from what I've seen, what I've played with it, I haven't seen that capability. Did you look at the new CD Shadow 2 Compact? I did. Looks good. Looks like a compact CZ Shadow. I didn't spend a lot of time over that. I actually went by the CZ booth on the first day, and it was just you were bumping into everybody.
Probably mayhem, I can imagine.
And it was I'll tell you, it gets so confusing because you have what was the main? You had Caesars and then the Palazzo, and you had everything else in there in the Palazzo, and then multiple floors of those, and you're constantly going back and forth, and you're constantly like, am I in Caesars or am I in Palazzo? Like you lose track of that. But I'll say again, I probably didn't see I don't know, probably 40% of it, or just briefly
walked by it. Yeah.
I mean, you end up going through so many booths, and there's just so much, and I was looking for something different, things that were different, right? And the other thing that I definitely wanted to do was make sure we went and met with people that we already do business with, with AccuSac, with
MDT,
Thunder Beast,
those guys, yeah.
MDT. All those are great folks.
That's the only time you get to see them face to face.
100%. And it was really great to meet all those people in person. So it was just a lot, man. It's just you're walking a lot. You're trying to get from one place to the other. You're trying to plan things out, and then you get distracted and you get sucked over into this booth. And then, there was like a couple of different gun manufacturers, smaller stuff that, you get sucked into the sales pitch essentially. And then, you're 45 minutes into it and you're like, no, this is junk. No, I mean, it's just the way it is.
No video for you.
This
that must have been at the Glock table.
No, I love Glock.
I do too. No, Gary doesn't.
No, I
Yeah,
do.
well,
I mean, we're a
Gary
direct
likes
dealer for
them.
them. I don't prefer them. I
Right.
prefer
See?
the M&Ps. But we did get. I actually have a video from Glock booth that I plan on producing and putting back.
Okay,
out
sweet. Because I didn't see it yet.
there. Yeah. So, that's that. What other questions we got up there? What was your favorite booth?
You can't say Ray though. You can't say Ray.
Ray. Well, so we were at
Microtech.
Microtech, and
So
that was cool.
You can't say Ray though. You have to pick another one. We know Ray's your favorite.
Ray wasn't my favorite booth. I would say, first of all, Ray's not a booth. I would say
It could be.
What interested me the most, and I know kind of fall flat on a lot of people, but to me, I thought that the coolest thing there was the Caracal booth. I thought that the 816 and the CMP9 were probably the two things that I knew I wasn't leaving that place without making sure that we got some in for testing, and ultimately we're carrying those. I think that Car 816, and you guys will hopefully see when I can do a full review of it, but I think the quality, the fit and finish, the capabilities of that thing, how impressive, the overall dependability on it, just based on. So Ray actually went over to the UAE and went to their he shot the crap out of both of those weapons, and he was the one who was like, Gary, you should really check out Caracal. I was like, okay, I've heard of Caracal, but it sounds gay, but
Jeez,
Can we say that?
that's not derogatory.
He meant like happy.
Well, they are okay. I'll go. And Ray is probably one of the most critical person on all things. Period. So, if he's saying something's good, he grabs my attention. So we went over there.
That's pretty sick.
And I started seeing what they did. He was explaining to me the testing that they did with that, and it was truly an impressive firearm, the Car 816. They have the engineers that were at H&K that helped design that or engineered the HK 416. Then they subsequently went over to SIG. They designed the 516, and now what you have is just like Jeff, the CEO, said, the third iteration and improved on both of those designs. So I think for a self-defense weapon, a weapon that was truly designed from the ground up to be just a bomb-proof military-grade weapon, I think it's pretty hard to beat. And then that CMP9, especially the K version, just looks sick. So we got those, and to me, the out of everything there, I think that was the most impressive thing, and you'll definitely be seeing a lot of content on that. And the prices of those, folks, when you're looking at considering what the market is, when you can get that Car 816, the quality that you're getting out of that at $1,800, and then the CMP 9 at $1,500, I think is a huge value. I think Caracal, if they continue on the trajectory that they are, they're fairly unknown for the most part, but I think just like a lot of these other brands in the next couple of years, they're going to be kind of dominating the market. That's my prediction, because I just think they offer a lot of quality there.
The CMP9 looks sick too.
The other,
for a truck gun, that'd be awesome.
No, it's pretty sweet. The other, honestly, the most innovative thing that I saw there was, in my mind, was the Thunder Beast RR suppressor.
That's the one with the brake on the end of it, right?
Yeah. So you're getting approximately 60,
that was interesting.
65% recoil reduction.
Why hasn't anybody thought of that?
Well, they have, and there's other companies that have done
I haven't seen it.
They just haven't done it to the extent that they did.
Gotcha. It was kind of more maybe just for looks.
Well, they were kind of tasked to develop a suppressor / brake for 50 cal, and I got a whole segment that I haven't posted yet or edited of Ray Sanchez just talking about their 50 cal brake, which in suppressor. So we'll get that up there, but that's where it came from. They're like, hey, we can add this to the Magnus. So when you're shooting, you're always kind of trying to decide, am I going to use a brake or am I going to use a suppressor? Which one do I want? And that's a choice that you've always had to have. Now you're getting excellent recoil reduction with suppression, and it's kind of a no-brainer. And I'm excited to get those in and really test those to see how those work.
And they look good. That's a thing you have to have. You got to look cool while you're doing it, but they looked really good. I mean,
they do.
It wasn't like an afterthought on design and stuff. You know what I mean? It was really well thought out when they were putting it all together.
No, and
It's
I don't
really-
know
it's-
if you
it's
guys
slick
caught
looking.
our live stream, our podcast with Ray Sanchez at the time. That 50 cal brake suppressor, the RR, was in development. He actually, that was the first time that he'd shown that live anywhere, was when he was on that podcast with us. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I thought out of everything that I saw, I honestly genuinely think those were like the two products that stood out. Everything else, just like any other gun show that you go to, it's just some variant of something that you've seen before.
One of those things that, when it comes to that suppressor with the brake on there, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, one thing, because obviously they only sell one type of brake with it, right? So I was like, man, especially when he says, well, it's a silencer part, so like, it is, you got to sell it together as a kit. So you can't, like, if you wanted a different type of brake with it, like, you wouldn't be able to get it yet. It's what comes on it is what it is. So did you ask them if they were selling any different types of brakes with
That's
it?
a good idea. Is it tuned for that caliber? Is what
Right.
you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, like
I think
different
it's-
types of brakes,
Tuned for 308, or we'll do okay with another round.
Right. So I was interested in that. Like, you can't just switch it out, right? Because it's an end cap. It's a silencer part.
Yeah,
Here we go.
And most people don't understand that. And I saw, one of the questions I had, because some of their suppressors do come with end caps, essentially, was, can you retrofit this or anything else? And the answer is no. And again, folks, if you don't know, basically an end cap, let's say, for instance, you used to be able to get end caps for one suppressor that was 30 cal or 6.5, but technically every piece of that is a separate suppressor. And I know it's gay.
Somebody told us that once, didn't they, Gary?
It's stupid, but that is essentially how the law works, because
Yes.
you used to be able to order
End cap.
separate end caps.
Mhm.
And obviously I think the Biden administration is really cracking down on that, that kind of semantical argument. It's stupid. It's dumb. The fact of the matter is, we need to get rid of the NFA. I mean, that's the reality, or at least take suppressors off the NFA. I mean,
Yes.
we should get rid of, full
But yeah,
autos.
like Gary said, every part of a suppressor is a suppressor in and of itself.
Yeah.
So
Even the baffles inside.
Well, it's
definitely the baffles inside.
Even just one of them, if it's a multiple.
Just if you have multiple baffles, right? Each baffle is a silencer.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Right. If it's a monocore,
Right.
that monocore is a silencer. And so that's why if you break as part of a silencer, say you have a baffle strike or something like that, that's why you have to send your silencer back to the company for them to fix it.
The entire unit.
Yeah, they can't just send you a piece, because they're essentially sending you a new silencer.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't do that.
or at least that's how the ATF interprets that
Correct.
law.
Yeah,
And
you're
as
exactly
we've
right.
seen, that they like to overstep their bounds a lot.
Defund the NFA.
What else? What other questions we got up there? One was asking about the booth bunny. We'll talk about that. Gary, you going to head-to-head challenge with the Garmin X1 and the Caldwell
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor graph. Yeah, I will. I definitely will. I haven't even seen that. I haven't seen the Caldwell Velocigraph. So what I'd like to do, now that I'm aware of that, I'll look that up. I haven't even seen this at all. So I will definitely, I already plan on getting one of the new lab radar units and putting that up against the Garmin. So if there is a like kind comparable product that Caldwell's putting out, I would definitely like to get those as well, so we can kind of put those up against what's out there, what's available, what the prices, what their capabilities are. Man, I'll tell you, I just, here's the thing is, like, I've been using the Garmin for several months now, and that thing is yet to miss a shot. I mean, it's just so good. There's like, you can have two people sitting next to each other. It's not picking up, even though that you're not putting nearly the effort that you used to have to put into the lab radar to aim it. Even if somebody's shooting next to you or down the line or whatever else, it just doesn't, I mean, it just does everything it's supposed to do so well that I have a hard time believing that anyone else is even coming close, but
It's
definitely
big.
worth testing.
It's big.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, we'll definitely let me see that.
Oh
thing.
Jesus!
It's no different than. I mean, it's a little smaller.
I
Than
mean,
the old one.
it looks
It's
like
still-
about the half the size of the lab radar.
Yeah. It's not that much smaller at all. It's $550. I saw the price up at the big top of it. It says coming soon, but
Hey Jay, throw on his camera and put that up in the camera just so
yeah, I was trying to show. Oh, here we go. There's a guy shooting.
the other camera.
that
Other
one.
camera, Jay. I guess you can't.
You have to get up close to it. There you go.
You can see the dude shooting. That's his head. I mean, it's not small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't hear you in the mic, but
No, but
so it's looks like it's like, I don't know, probably
it's probably 8.5 by 11. So it looks like the size of a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
If not just a tick smaller, maybe.
I mean, compared to, you know,
because
the
screen,
Garmin
the
is this
screen
big.
it's showing is about the size of
What
the Garmin.
does it have a price on that?
550.
550?
What's the Garmin run?
About 550,
Oh, really? Same thing.
like 599.
This has big buttons on it, so if you're hard to see,
I wonder what the technology difference is.
We'd have to do.
I'm sure they're both Doppler radar. So anyways,
550.
yes, to answer that question, sure, why not? We'll order one of those. We'll test that up against the Garmin Lab radar.
That big thing
and
only has
see
a
what happens.
2.8-inch color screen.
2.8-inch color screen. Well, I mean, the Garmin.
She going? I took it home.
Oh, probably. The Garmin doesn't have like a huge screen or
Wish it
anything either,
said
but
the
it's very,
size.
very bright, very readable. All those good things. What else?
Yeah, and I think it's an LED screen too. They probably don't want to tell you what size it is.
Yeah, the Ops Core amp they're like $1,500 for, and apparently that's the Ear Pro and comms unit that SOCOM is now going to. What is the sword warranty like? I'll have that information for you, Jeff. I don't know off the top of my head. That's another thing too, folks. And I definitely took some improvements, right? Took home some improvements as far as doing those types of interview. I know I was getting flamed in there. Why didn't you ask about the price? You know, when you're sitting there talking and you got so much going on around you, I will definitely have a much better structured conversation, maybe even have some notes in my hands. But you're kind of getting lost in the sauce as far as what's going on, and you're thinking about what they're telling you about this product and thinking about questions that you're going, you plan on asking ahead of time. It's easy to forget.
Yeah,
a lot of that
I don't
stuff.
think a price question is the biggest. I mean, half the ones, if you watch all the videos, like specifically classic firearms, because they went like, it felt like to every booth, right?
Yeah.
Like I would say a good portion of them didn't have prices, right? They was all to be determined a lot of times.
I mean, you want to figure out if you like it or not. Then price is really secondary. If you really like this, and there's something you're gonna use it. It's just yeah. So I mean, everything I saw you did, I think it was pretty spot on. You ask the questions that people need to know, the people or what they would want to know, and you hit those high points. The low points will come with it. You know what I mean?
You can always Google a price.
They saw what you had it in hand, or the guy had it in hand, and you were going over and looking at. I mean, I don't think it was bad at all.
No, I thought it was good.
And the other thing is prices change, right?
Absolutely.
So that's
not for the better half the time.
No,
right, exactly.
They're almost always so like
you got MSRP, then you got dealer price, and and they're going to make their money on it.
Well, and the other thing that I've learned is that when you have a YouTube video up for 3, 4, 5 years,
right?
I've gotten away from even talking about prices for the most part, because literally, I have, when we first started doing this during the pandemic, there's some videos out there that I have prices in.
and
obviously, yeah, they're like, you're a liar. I just checked your link and
bro,
it's like $50 more or whatever. Like that was
pre-COVID.
That's 3 years old, bro.
Right.
Like prices change, and I'm trying to trick you. What I want you to do is I want you to watch this video. I'm gonna tell you a low price and somehow trick you into buying it for $50 more once you get there. Like,
I'm sure you had a good comment back to him.
I always do. I'm very
that's what you do in your spare time.
Very I have a lot of patience for stupidity in the
yes,
comments.
you do. And you are very enunciated in your responses.
So yeah, I'm not exactly sure, Jeff, on the warranty. I'll let you know on that. Here, did you see scope mounted optics for recording live video? That was one thing that I looked for a lot, and I didn't see anything out there.
Huh. There's one to break into.
One of the things that I did see that I plan on talking to them about that I've been searching for is it's called a collimator, but it's basically one thing that Night Force had up there. They weren't selling it obviously, but they were showing the tracking. One of the things I wanted to get for, the different scope review tests. And if anybody out there knows, I've reached out to a couple different companies and optics testing companies, and some of these had them, and some were like, oh, we'll develop you a system. But basically to be able to check scope tracking, right, very precisely. And Night Force had a unit up there where you place the optic back here. There's a camera that is adjustable. It moves back and forth so you can get the perfect eye relief. And then, in this device is actually the exact same reticle. And that way you can actually, if you move up 10 clicks, it shows it moving exactly 10 clicks. And so for scope tracking, I've been trying to find a device that will do that so that we can get very precise scope tracking capabilities, because it's so hard to do it precisely out in the field. It's just, there's a lot of different factors involved that people don't realize. And quite frankly, I didn't realize how hard that was going to be to do well and do precisely, and be able to show that on video. Right. So that's one thing that I definitely plan on looking at. But no, I really didn't. I was one of the things I was hoping to find was something new that would make viewing through scopes much easier and better. And again, for the Tacticam, or especially the trigger cam, the trigger cam is such a good unit for 99% of optics outside of honestly Zero Compromise and a couple other optics that have extremely large ocular lenses and housings. Outside of those, every other optic, that trigger cam is fantastic for catching what you're seeing through there at the level that you'd want to see it if you want to kind of capture you shooting a match or shooting on a hunt or anything like that. The problem is when I'm trying to compare the optical quality between those two, that's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to do, through any sort of, I don't care if one of these big expensive cameras or whatever else, you're tunneling that light so much that it's at the end of the day, it's kind of illustrative a little bit, but you still can't see what I'm seeing. And then you have the camera doing other things like changing the white balance, adding different colors in there, based on the color science of the camera,
kind of make it look better automatically.
Yeah. There's so many things that's going on inside the camera that's really hard to do a real, precise comparative analysis of one optic quality against another optical quality.
Had a question over here on Rumble, and specifically for the rifle chassis in the back there, the red one. That's MPA, correct?
That is MPA. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I got 5 other ones of those over there.
They are pretty.
Those are our student rifles that we're going to have for the XP Long Range Academy, which I'm really stoked about, folks. I think most of those classes are 70-80% full. Some of them are completely full.
Hell yeah.
And we got a lot of folks, we're going to end up running that with a prize table at the end. And I can tell you just what we have. If you win Top Gun, you are already paying for your class and then some. And then we have prizes coming up for, second and third place as well. So, not only are you going to get absolutely the best training available, and there's all kinds of new things that we are incorporating into those courses that we haven't done in previous courses, that I think everybody's going to really enjoy. But anyways, we got a lot of cool things coming up with that. So,
but those guns are like top of the line. They have the new actions in them too, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, they got new actions in them. They got Zeiss rings, Zeiss 6x32s. Is that right?
6x36.
6x36 on them.
The S3 6x36.
MDT levels. I mean, you got your what's that little thing for your
LRA Ascendant level?
Didn't know that you got your notepad thing already on. I mean,
your range card.
Yeah, they're set up. They're ready to rock. All 6 of them.
I plan on doing a full video of those. I was trying to get that done before we left for shot, but we'll do. I mean, it really is.
You got the sweet laser engrave on it too already.
Yep.
I mean, they're nice guns.
The idea was to kind of give the students that are renting guns from us the ideal setup, and that's what and those were in collaboration between me and Ray. Like, hey, what do we want on this rifle? And like, what is the ideal setup for a long range rifle? And between that, then we have the AccuTac PC4 bipods that are going on that. Which, you know, again, I want to thank Zeiss, AccuTac, MPA, all these companies that MDT, you know, have sponsored us and have really made all of this possible. They've just been super great. And on top of that, those same companies are putting stuff on the prize tables for every course. So our level 1, level 2s, it's going to be exciting.
Are you going to throw cans on those too?
We are. So Thunder Beast Arms sponsored us on that.
Awesome too.
They gave us a huge, they took care of us. None of that stuff was, you know, they didn't just give us, but they gave us extreme discounts. And we're going to have Ultra 9s on there, direct thread Ultra 9s. And what that'll allow us to do as we get into level 2s and 3s, especially level 3 courses will be geared more specifically to kind of PRS competition. And with that, you don't want to break. I mean, you don't want a can, you want to break. Well, what I wish I'd have known is that they were coming out with the RRs.
Now, you can still order them.
No, we can. But I will say at the end of the day, you're getting really, really good recoil reduction. But I still think that some of the really good breaks out there are still going to reduce recoil even more. And when you're shooting competition, recoil reduction is everything. So we'll still be able to take those cans off, throw on a brakes for, you know, when we're kind of teaching the more competition oriented courses.
Yeah, nice rifles.
Jeff, I got to handle the H9. I was fighting everybody. One of the first times I went up to the, I mean, you know, it looked and felt great. Obviously I didn't shoot it, didn't get to hear the whole spiel on it. I mean, I think most of us know about the original H9. It's
Hudson 9.
Yeah, the Hudson 9. I mean, it's true to the design. I don't know how Daniel Defense's, you know, functions. I'm assuming, you know, I mean, Daniel Defense, everything
They talked about a bunch of upgrades.
It's a DD,
they did.
Ultimately, it's, you know, you have a very low bore. I mean, that was the idea behind that, and kind of lower center of gravities to reduce recoil and muzzle flip. And I think, you know,
or you could just have a good grip,
or you can have a good grip, but anything helps, and that's why, you know, it is what it is. What else we got?
I like Richie. You put that one up there.
Since summer is it, we got to know how much money did you?
She's listening.
I'm sure she is. She's probably got an earbud in.
Well, let's just say this, Richie. We really need everybody's support to get in there and order.
Go to Patreon.
I don't even want you to do that. I want you to go buy some stuff, right? Put it in. Here's what I will say too, folks. We ordered. I mean, it's up there, right? So, you know, I'll just say probably close to 50 on just suppressors. Which is, you know, not hard to do. If you get a couple of variants, you get a couple, like, you know, you order a couple different variants, a couple different colors, man, next thing you know, you're going in deep. So yeah, if you guys want to help us out on any of that stuff, as far as, you know, pre-order one of these RR suppressors, pre-order some of the Caracal things, you know, hook us up and we'll hook you up. You know, you can shoot us an email. What I will say on the Caracal, just like with anything else that we sell, right? You know, I really do pride ourselves on the fact that, you know, we have created a very curated selection of items, and I'm very proud of what we do carry, because they genuinely have been tested by myself, by guys like Jason and other people that know. And, you know, we come to this consensus of, hey, this is an excellent product. It's either the best on the market or the best in that genre. What I definitely saw at SHOT was an opportunity that I think a lot of people take up on it, and that is, you can buy some mid-grade stuff that I felt like there's a lot of compromise when it came to performance and reliability and all these other things, but, you know, the profit margins are a lot higher. And I will say too, it seems like, you know, the better the company that you're dealing with, a lot of times those profit margins are a lot lower. But I'd rather carry those and know that we're carrying something that I would choose. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Would I take this into combat? Would I use this for self-defense? Would I use this at shooting long range? You know, do I think this is the best option, or do I think, you know, is this an excellent option for the money? Those are all things that I take in consideration. So and ultimately we're able to do these things because of you guys, the clients. And I really appreciate, your guys' trust in us. And regardless of the product too, is the other thing that's really important to us is, the customer service into that. I had 3 phone calls today, just clients, potential clients, people that I haven't even done business with yet, but, asking, my advice on this, or, hey, they want to get this, what do they recommend? And it is, we've established a reputation that I don't take lightly of a clientele that trusts our opinion and trust what we carry. So if there's ever a question of, hey, what do you recommend? Ultimately it's what's on our website, and that didn't get there by chance or just because we can make a bunch of money on it.
Amy M says the Caldwell is chirps radar, not Doppler.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to do a side-by-side.
I would definitely like to do a side-by-side because I don't know what.
Real cool.
Jason, can you give us the scientific explanation of what chirps radar is?
Yeah, when you shoot, it chirps.
Does it have a bone behind its head? Chirps actually reflects a radar off the bone behind your head. It goes through the optic.
It's more like a fruit bat.
It goes through the optic and it picks up the backside of your projectile. I don't even know what that technology is. So
yeah, I know how Doppler works, but I'm kind of like,
that's when it's like predicts rain coming and stuff, right?
Do you? Can you explain how Doppler works?
Well, no, I can't.
It's been a couple years.
If I were to attempt to do that, I would sound like an idiot. But
Let's get on ChatGPT.
In my head, I have a decent idea of how Doppler works just from watching.
Jay, as a fellow 18 Bravo, I think you and I should probably stick to our lane. We'll stay outside of medical and or technological advances.
Well, now I'm going to do all this research on how Doppler radar works.
I know what you're doing at work tomorrow.
Yeah, legit.
Next week's podcast is going to be a full presentation on chirps radar. By the
we
one
need the
and
PowerPoint and everything.
I'm actually, I've never heard of that, so I'm kind of like, man, I want to know how that works.
Amy's probably bullshitting. She probably pulled that. She was like,
she just made some
these
shit up.
guys think it's chirps, idiots.
She said I spelled it wrong and everything.
Yeah.
She's like, I know these morons won't know the difference.
She's like, I'm really interested in this now.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I'm gonna go look up chirps.
The loss radar gives you the ballistic coefficient of your bullet. So it's in real time. It's reading on a ballistic coefficient. I'm curious to see how that works because the ballistic coefficient of your bullet is in constant flux as it both changes in velocity and
it's
distance.
chirps radar, Gary.
You're right. I stay corrected. Chris, look that up. See what chirps radar is. Just
do I spell it like her? Or no?
I'm sure it is.
Amy is right. It's chirp cutting edge.
Amy was all over my ass on not giving prices. I apologize, Amy. I'll get better at that. It's fair criticism. And again, I'll go in next year with a little bit more structured interview process.
I can't promise that, Amy, because there's nothing structured about Gary sometimes.
That's true. He's not wrong. Let's see.
Chirp radar works by adding a time delay to the received signal and the swept frequency transmitted signal in such a way that the transmitted signal is. It just cuts off. It just goes 3 dots after that. Maybe they haven't figured it out
it's
yet.
Confused too.
Chirp radar works by adding time delay to the received signal and the swept frequency transmitted signal in such a way that the transmitted signal is quote unquote compressed in time to yield a shorter pulse and receive signal as the reverse operation is performed.
So maybe you're getting faster feedback than a Doppler.
I mean, that's assuming a lot. Here's my question on that. Let's say we get the Garmin and the Lab Radar, the new units, and we can throw in the old unit for that matter. And those obviously working off a Doppler. And then we have that other unit over there that is working off of chirps. If we're getting conflicting results out of those, the Doppler units versus the chirps, I wonder how we would know which one is more correct.
It says chirp radars are used today in a variety of applications. Most notably, chirp radars are used in weather observation and marine radar.
Oh, so then,
and again, I still wonder what the difference. I wonder what Doppler's used for those same things, and I do know that, like,
interesting.
Doppler is what's being used by DARPA and some of these other ones to map ballistic coefficients, even working with Brian Litz and things like that. I know they're using Doppler. I don't know if chirps is a new technology, but I am curious to know a comparison between the two, which one would be potentially more accurate.
News Defiance says Doppler bounces microwave signals off a desired target.
There you go.
I'd also have to Google that.
Bounce freaking microwave signals off of Jason's face.
Where's my tin hat when I need one?
I left mine on the gun safe in here somewhere. It's still here. I don't know if it fits your big head.
Oh man. Jeez. You talk about big heads.
I know. I got a lot more hair on mine.
That's true. That's true.
The distance in circumference from Jason's neck to the floor is the same size as the distance from his neck to top of his head. That may not be totally accurate, but I like to think so. Yeah, hit what Dan, God is my judge, says
at the bottom.
Yeah. I think a little bit of that is kind of inculcated into my conscious.
Whoa.
I avoid prices. I avoid prices while I'm talking to people like that. So when I say send me 12 of them, I don't even know what the price is. So therefore, the wife, well, she still gets mad. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being in denial.
You have to ask. You can't afford it.
That's right.
That's true.
That's not true.
Or regardless.
I just want to know how guilty I'm going to
feel.
It's like how mad you don't be.
You're either willing to pay. You're like, oh, that sounds so good that I'm willing to pay the price, regardless what that price is.
Yeah.
Or you're not.
Yeah. Or you go, ooh. I'm like,
ooh. I'm only gonna get 2, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
not 3.
Throw up Ryan Swanson's.
Sam.
Gentlemen, if you sight it in a gun with a bipod bag, will your point of aim change when shooting off a rest or a tripod? I use my left hand. No, not really. If you have your parallax set correctly, it shouldn't change. Not enough to matter. So I wouldn't worry about that.
He had a good question earlier that I forgot to
I
forgot to hit. Sorry, Ryan.
A monopod. Are you talking about
he's asking, he says he uses the Fat Boy now, but he's wondering if we have any recommendations for a monopod, if there's any good carbon fiber options out there. That's actually a really good question. I've used monopods a few times because he's stalk hunting in Texas, so I can see where you don't want to be dragging around a Fat Boy, so you're gonna want a monopod out there. But as far as a recommendation, I don't know. I don't have a company in mind that.
Me neither.
A monopod's a monopod.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are some differences in overall build quality and things like that, but that's not something that we currently train on or use use. So no, I don't personally have a good answer for you. Usually when somebody's asking me about a monopod, I'm thinking that they're talking about an elevation adjustment device at the rear at the buttstock. So there's like the shooting sticks that they have out there.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of those that I did use during sniper school.
Yeah, exactly. That's stuff I was thinking about.
So I mean, there obviously is a real use for those things, and I know I have seen pictures of lots of new ones that you can adjust height and things like that from just a trigger at your hand. So your guess is as good as mine on that, buddy. Find some products, check them out, see which one works for you, send the rest back. That's what I would do. What other questions?
We're at the bottom.
We already hit that one. What does Jeff McSpook say there? Oh, he was saying MPA.
So I want to ask, did you talk about? I really like that. Was it the CM9 from Caracal?
Mm-hmm.
Did you all
CMP? Yeah,
the little pistol knife.
Yeah.
Did you order some of them?
Of course we did.
Okay, cool.
Of course we did.
Because that out of all your stuff, that one was the one I was like, that's kick ass.
Yep.
I really like the looks of that. It looked like it it'd just be great. It looked like it'd be great to put on the back of your seat of your truck, put it in your backpack. I mean, the versatility. With a 30-round mag.
Versatility.
No, versatility.
Versatility.
With a 30-round mag on it, I was like,
the versatilation.
Instead of carrying 2 Glocks, you can just have that.
Or you can have 2 of those. That is.
Price doesn't matter.
First of all, do you not remember? I think it was from Delta Force, that image of Chuck Norris,
with the
2 Uzis, and he has it like this chest harness, and they're tethered to that.
Yeah,
that thing would be sweet.
You could make that.
I'm ordering those.
I'm glad you're gonna get some. I'd like to hold one and see like this is, and then
I'll let you look at it. I'll let you touch it.
Well, I might have to pre-order.
Okay. What I didn't do that I'm getting ready to remedy is they also come in FDE. I'm gonna order a couple of those in FDE as well.
Well, that's the one I want. I don't want black.
I know.
I have to have FDE.
And
throw a can on that thing. I already have a can at the house that'll fit it.
Yep. You have a 9mm?
No, I have a 45 can, but it'll fit on there.
Oh yeah, it'll fit on there.
I got a Glock 45 long slide that I bought a can for the shoot.
That hit Jason's sponsor little thing there. That's the one I was trying to think of, the Primo's trigger sticks monopod. Those
I've seen them before. Yeah.
You know, folks, especially on something like a monopod like that, I would probably go aluminum versus carbon fiber. Even when I'm playing around with whether it's
aluminum.
Yeah, aluminum. Like these smaller tripods that you get for the cameras that I use. I have these little travel tripods and stuff like that. What I have found is you can, if you get aluminum, they tend to flex less, and like the weight is nominal. The difference where you want to go from aluminum to carbon fiber is when you get into larger tripods where the weight difference is huge. But number one, aluminum. You know, so if we made a fat boy tripod out of aluminum, you know, that thing would be, you know,
it'd be awful,
several pounds heavier.
But when you're talking about just a single stick with the diameter,
like I doubt the weight difference between that and a carbon fiber one would be, you know, it'd be nominal, and the rigidity that you would get out of the aluminum versus that carbon fiber, I think would. That's the way that I would go, and it's going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, so he was looking at something with an ARCA attachment, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
What I can tell you, you know, as a matter of fact, grab that right there.
I wouldn't even thought about that when I used monopods. They, monosticks. They were that was way back in the day.
Yeah, Ryan. So you might want to even look at something in the photography or videography world. So they make a lot of, so this is a monopod that I use sometimes just for some videography stuff. I want to go real light, and it is carbon fiber. They make the same one that you could get in aluminum as well for cheaper, but you can actually get this. Essentially does have a ARCA Swiss attachment. So
the ball head on it and everything.
What's nice is, you know, like all of my regular camera attachments and or shooting equipment are all ARCA Swiss. So whether I plan on throwing a camera inside of one of the fat boys, or if I don't know, I got a hair up my ass and want to throw a rifle on one of these, but there's a lot of good options out there for camera equipment that, and honestly, Jay, you remember that's how we used to do.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking that. I was like, man, I was like, that was my first tripod, my first monopod.
We'd buy these
camera stuff.
Yeah, we'd buy some, you know, camera oriented, you know, Manfrottos back in the day before they were using tripods. They had like gun specific tripods. So I think on a monopod that might be a good option.
What's the cost on that though? Because I'm sure that's,
I don't know, it's like $150.
Oh, that's not hateful.
No,
okay. That's got a wide foot too on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's camera. It's not tactical, so it's gonna be cheaper.
And the new one,
yeah, right? Oh, it's got red on this one though.
Jay, first of all, you were highly mistaken on that. Anything camera can be extremely expensive. But the new one of this actually has a foot lever that you can adjust. There's a ball down here, so it'll automatically, well, not automatically, but you hit the foot lever and then you can actually change.
Oh, so it releases it.
It does. But then it also has like some positive clicks. Like if you want to go back to perfectly flush or, you know, plumb
with the foot
in relation to the foot, it has like those
preset
clicks.
Yeah. Huh.
So that might be an option, but I think some of the Primos shooting sticks is probably a better, answer to that. What has Pat G said? I love questions that start with
dumb question.
I really struggle shooting weak side, non-dominant eye with my precision rifle. I can't figure out the proper technique.
Oh, yes, I can answer this all the day.
Go ahead, Jay.
Okay. Hey, so here's the biggest problem when I see. Well, number one, let's talk about switching shoulders first of all.
Put your hands down, Jay. They can't see.
Listen, Chris, I'm not gonna be able to talk if I don't use my hands.
Jay looks like he's practicing tying balloons at a kid's party. Anytime
I'm telling you,
party. Anytime he's
I'll do his hands.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So let's talk about switching shoulders in the first place. There's been tons of studies done when switching shoulders. It's not the point that you can't shoot from there. I'm sure you're a good shooter, or most people are a good shooter. Like when they switch shoulders, they can hit their target. However, the problem comes to the manipulations of the weapon, right? Time and time again.
Well, Jay, hold on.
Yeah.
Can we just make sure that we are addressing his question specifically?
Yes, I'm getting there. There, right? I'm just going over this, right? Time and time again, people are behind the power curve. Like if they come into a weapons manipulation, if it's on their weak side shoulder, right? They have problems manipulating the gun. And again, if you can't feed it or fix it, right, it's not good. I use another terminology, but I'm not going to use that here, right? However, you need to be able to manipulate a gun. Going back to that, right? You're having trouble with the non-dominant eye. The reason because of this is that when I transition from my strong side shoulder to my weak side shoulder, if there are any differences, right? Meaning I place the stock slightly lower on my left shoulder. I'm right-handed shooter. I'm a right-handed shooter. If I place the stock slightly lower on my shoulder, on my left shoulder, I'm going to have problems picking up that dot, right? If I'm off to the side too much, I'm going to have problems picking up that dot. So when you transition shoulders, it has to literally be no difference from shoulder to shoulder, and you have to practice that. It's a good position to work from it, and that's something that takes practice. If there's most shooters I see when they transition shoulders, they try to tilt their head all the way over the stock, and it's because they're not putting the stock in the same position that they would be in their shooting side shoulder. So
ultimately, folks, anybody that's serious about getting good at being able to shoot ambidextrously, amphibiously,
and bilingual.
Bilingually. Look, what you need to do is you need to transition to that side completely for a while. Like take some courses, whether it's pistol, rifle, whatever else, set that gun up left-handed.
Yep.
Get you a left-handed holster.
Also known as wrong-handed, but okay.
It is. I mean, Obama was left-handed. That's all you really need to know.
Jeez. Cancel.
But that's interesting. How you're going to build those reps, and there's really no other way around it. That's how you're going to make sure that you're lining up that gun the same way every single time, and not doing all these extra weird, things that you normally wouldn't do from your dominant side. So, if you're serious about that, switch everything over for a while, a good 6 months, a year. You get to where you're proficient. Those same courses that you've taken, if you're taking courses, and hopefully you are. Take those same courses again from level 1 through whatever, but do it with that non-dominant hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's something that, that's something that we all should do. And most of us don't take the time to do that. That's something that I should spend the next 2 years, just running my support side hand. I think that, and the more you train that stupid hand, the better that you're going to shoot with the dominant hand anyhow.
Well, like for as a firearms instructor, so I'll tell you what I've done in the past, right? So as a professional firearms instructor,
God, Jay, you're talking so loud into my earballs.
Am I really?
And he's calling himself a professional.
Drop it down a decibel or two.
I'm gonna drop it low. Okay, right.
So and wears hearing aids.
If as a professional firearms instructor, I have gone through courses completely left-handed, because I need to know from a left-handed perspective, like how to teach a left-handed shooter how to manipulate a gun. So I've gone through entire courses, entire days, entire months, right, shooting left-handed, not because I want to get better at left-handed. I want to get better at teaching left-handed people, right? So that's how I know it's usually you put your stock lower on your left shin shoulder or your weak side shoulder, if that's the case, right? And most people bring their eye to their red dot, right. So it's more than likely a mounting issue of where you're putting it a different spot from your strong side shoulder to your weak side shoulder.
I mean ultimately you're not doing the same things consistently that you do with the strong side. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah,
you just have to mirror it,
and the only
literally mirror it,
and the only thing that's going to get rid of that is repetition. It's perfect form, good reps in perfect form. I mean, that's all it's going to do.
This is perfect form right here.
And it takes,
look at this.
It takes a lot of reps to be able to do that consistently.
Yeah. Jason went through the courses that way because he forgot what hand. That's probably true.
Yeah, he's definitely bilingual. He can do them both.
What hand am I using? I don't know.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
This one came into my eyesight first. I'll use it. Ugh.
Jay has a new voice. It used to be,
hi, Jason Batista here. I do think that the slower sounding,
that sounds a lot more realistic.
Isn't that more realistic?
That's more realistic.
I think that
especially
I think that is a good voice
Glenn
for
Cairn of EC.
That's more along his thought process. I think if we were to put a voice to his thought process, I think that would. Oh, there's my left hand.
Sounds more like Eeyore. Oh, bother.
Poor Jason. Don't you dare feel sorry for him, Jeff. Don't you dare.
He is our friend.
That's right. We will not pity him.
We will berate him
That's right.
as we need to.
Oh, Summer showed up. Summer, what was some of your give your perspective of SHOT Show. What you got over there? Summer just liked meeting everybody, and everyone enjoyed meeting her.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, oh, Gary's better half.
Yep.
The woman who controls the money. What'd you say?
The brains in the operation. There's no doubt about that.
I'm just glad you let him spend money.
Who asked that question, by the way, that I answered?
Oh, I hope so. There's a whole reason to go.
Jay, find us some other questions up there. What else you guys want to know about SHOT? I'm trying to think of some other things about SHOT that we experienced.
Make sure you did order some FDE of those.
Pat G, did I answer your question?
I think you probably over-answered this question.
Man.
And then some.
Paramount Tactical just commented.
When is that, Sean? Where's that, Sean?
I was like,
he seems pretty cool. that is Sean. Yeah, we missed Sean tonight.
I was like, I didn't type anything.
No, I'm sure that's Sean. Yeah,
he must have the login.
Sean had to took some vacation time because he's selfish. And he didn't want
slacker. I was over here. I had to work all the computer stuff,
producing the show tonight.
Hitting ambulance sounds.
Dear God. When Jeff said, when will we start selling reloading stuff? As soon as I
get a little bit up there,
as soon as I get some of the debt down I just spent, Jeff, I gotta sell some of the stuff I bought. Under the long, you're fine. What booth or product surprised
that's a good question.
You the most? Summer, you got any input on that? Any booth that surprised us the most?
Peter Booth surprised somebody one time.
You know, to be honest, I feel like Sword, walking up, it was kind of a small booth, a couple people in it. I feel like them having the president there.
Yeah. So for those of you who can't hear it, because they can't hear you, babe.
Get over on Jay's mic.
Come over here and
come over and sit between us.
Talk on Jay's mic. Please remove him for a little bit. We all need a break. We need a Jay break.
No, okay. I was saying, I knew Sword was an excellent product, but walking up to the booth, it was sort of a small booth. Not to mention when we walked up,
More in the mic, babe.
The lady that
get in there.
The lady that greeted us ended up being the president of the company. So number one, it was cool to see a female president, CEO of such a large company.
Yeah, that bothered me.
You're such a jerk. And the presentation of material was really nice as well, which I knew they had great product, but I really liked what I saw, and I liked the Sword and booth a lot, as well as Caracal was a surprise as well. had some really good stuff. And honestly, I had never even heard of the brand. So
yeah, no, yeah, I agree with both of those. We actually, when I started talking to the CEO of Sorden, I was like, "Oh, you mind doing that on video?" You could tell she was like, "Whoa," and she was nervous, but she was able to. Number one, she did an excellent job, and she, she presented everything that we wanted to know about it. So it is cool. Her and Jeff both being CEOs of a company, being on the ground. They could easily put somebody out there. But them being there to answer questions from consumers directly, and I guess not technically consumers, but their dealers or potential dealers.
Are they American made?
What's that?
Sorden?
Sorden, I don't think is. I think they're made in Sweden.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
Or
actually, yeah, you're right, because I remember seeing
Switzerland, right?
No, I think it's Sweden, because I think I remember seeing her flag on her name tag.
Yeah, it's Sweden.
Yep. So I think another point from SHOT Show and a takeaway, something that has evolved probably over the years, Gary and I actually discussed this, is it was nice to see with the advent of social media, all the interviews in the booth, the things that are going on, the people in the booth had to be really well versed on the product, well educated, and be able to actually talk about the product to the public. You didn't see a lot of booth bunnies sitting around just looking pretty, and
except for mine.
Except for yours.
You need a booth.
It was nice to see that they actually had well-spoken, well-educated people in the booth to talk about the product.
Yeah, I think because of social media and because that it ends up being such a media event, essentially, that it forced them to get away from just grabbing people's attention and having genuine subject matter experts up there. I won't even say subject matter expert,
but
you
didn't dumbfound anybody. They're right on it every time.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Even with somebody that's well versed in it, and the questions you asked, they were on it already. You know what I mean?
Well, what I thought was, for instance, even Thunder Beast and even Down Defense, the guys on the floor were the actual engineers. Like the guy that did the interview for Down Defense on the PCC.
That was what I was worried about. I thought it was just going to be the salesman that was like, "Hey, here's the gun."
Oh, you know what I mean? Engineer on
he was
project.
one of the engineers on that project. So that's really cool, because that's not something that you usually get access to, the engineers. Now yeah, so and as far as everything else goes, somebody was asking about in the comments of the video, somebody asked about Schmidt and Bender and a couple other the optics companies. I walked through some of those booths. I didn't see anything that really grabbed my attention, and I wasn't there just to get content. I was there to get things that, number one, I'm interested in. It's my initial, ultimately, Summer and I are buying that stuff.
The other thing is some of the larger brand booths like Aimpoint, Hollow Sun, some of those were so swamped with people. It was very hard to even get
reason
in the
Jason's
booth
trying to give you that, babe, is you're fading out.
Yeah, you can hear yourself talk.
Sorry.
So you know if you're fading or not.
Well, I was just saying, like, some of the larger booths, like Hollow Sun, I remember Aimpoint, I forget what other booths, but especially those, they were super hard to even walk through. They were just so swamped with people. It was really hard to look at stuff. And it was kind of those things. I got the feeling, what I felt like was, I'll kind of see this stuff later. We'll get media releases on it. We'll see it later. And it's not worth fighting people to be able to put hands on.
And not only that, even if we were able to get hands on and shoot a video on it, it would have been so loud around us that it would have been more distracting.
Yeah, you'd had so much background noise.
It just, and on top of that, you got to back up far enough to get a camera angle, and now you're like taking up all the space, and all these people are fighting. It's just, it looks rude. What was the booth where the guys were all walking around in suits, which really struck me odd.
Wasn't that?
That was ATF, right?
No, that was an Aimpoint, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
the
you're
ATF
right.
booth I saw, they were all in suits.
So
they look so uncomfortable and unhappy. Sorry if you work the Aimpoint booth and you're watching this, but you guys did not look happy.
Well, and it was really weird. So they were all in suit and ties. It looked Aimpoint, if you're listening, don't make your guys wear suits next time. Put them in a polo.
I get where they were going with it.
They're trying to look professional, but it was
a nice black Aimpoint polo. You know what I mean? Have your logo on it and everything.
They were just trying to elevate the brand, which I get.
It looked odd. It looked odd. It looked completely out of place, and Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of it almost came across.
They had a massive booth.
To me, it almost looked pretentious.
Another big word.
Well, it came across to me as very off-putting and pretentious, like, oh, we're too good to talk to you about our product.
We classy.
You bother us. That was kind of the feeling I got.
And I don't think those guys felt that way, but that's the image that it projected.
Yes.
And it was like, yeah. So anyways, aim point. Loosen up a little bit, weirdos. Jesus, you're not that important.
Somebody said FUD point.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely saw a lot of FUDs around there. There was no doubt.
Oh my goodness. Yes, they were usually wearing the NRA hats.
Hey, look, I'll tell you, people talk smack about aim point. I'll tell you, when it comes to, I love aim point, right? I actually don't use a lot of their products. They are a little pricey, but I'll tell you, when it comes to like the M68, the old original aim point, and I've never seen one of those broken. I mean, those things are just some of the most durable, reliable optics on the planet. Babe, did we get
the dudes look like they're at a funeral?
Yeah. Did we get a direct dealership with aim point? I know we were working on it.
We just haven't placed the initial order yet. I got to be honest. I'll put it out there. The freaking buy-in to become a dealer is super massive. So, if you guys want to start placing pre-orders, you could help us out. But.
Well, and that's the thing is like when you got to buy 15 to 20K worth of stuff.
No, it was more than that.
I got you.
Just FYI.
Well, then we need a lot of pre-orders.
Yeah, we don't need
a lot of pre-orders. Irregardless.
Price doesn't matter.
All right. Throw up Ryan Swanson's comment. Come on, Jay. Do some producing back there.
He had to lean up.
I didn't have the mic. I didn't know what I was doing anymore.
Well, we can hear you without the mic.
I messed up his whole
vibe
ride over here.
I'm just drinking.
Ryan Swanson, it's great to see guns, ammo just getting better. Quality is A+. Everything else is built cheaper. Having said that, development are excited to see in the future 1 to 3 years.
That's a great point, actually. Most industries, the stuff is being built cheaper. I do feel like that's true. That a lot of guns and ammo. I mean, it's just so competitive in the marketplace. They don't have a choice.
It is true.
You have a different opinion of, obviously.
No, I don't. I think there's another side of one of the things that
I saw a lot of prices come down on a lot of stuff this year as they were talking about stuff.
Well, so what I do think is that there is a natural evolution of these new companies, new products, new gear. So for instance, you see Hollow Sun come out with really great optics that are like anywhere from $100 to a couple $100 that are competing with other Trigicon, the aim points, the EOTechs out there that are $600 and $700. But then you also see that price creep from the Hollow Sun as they establish, like, now you're starting to see those top tier products that kind of stopped at like $400. Now those are creeping up to $400 or $500. Now they just came out with a thermal sight, which was interesting.
That looked awesome.
That's like $1,500. But I mean, again, it's a pretty new piece of technology, and I think to expect it to be any less. The other comment that I want to address, and probably just an impression across the industry, that is when I know on the video that I talked about Daniel Defense, there were some derogatory comments down there about, oh my God, these people think they expect, $1,800 for a PCC or whatever else. And the prices are just ridiculous for, a $600 or $700 gun. I don't think that people realize, and I know I didn't realize either until we got into the firearms industry, how much it costs to stay in business. And and yes, you have companies like Daniel Defense that are charging a premium for genuinely, I'm not a huge Daniel Defense fan, but the reality is
premium product.
They make really good products
and a badass warranty.
They have a badass warranty, but those are the companies that are staying in business because they do have to make a profit, right? Mm-hmm. And they've established a name, and they're still in the industry. Whereas you see a lot of these companies that come in with these basement bargain prices, you're not going to see them 3 or 4 years from now. Folks, I mean, the firearm industry, if you realize between the ATF, all the different excise taxes, all the different government fees, all the different concerns about constantly worried about litigation, you have whole states,
insurance,
states coming after you. Like, I'm I'm sure Daniel Defense is making a decent profit off those, but it is not what you think it is. I bet I'd be willing to bet if they're making $200 to $300 profit off of a rifle, and I think it's much less than that.
I don't think it's that much.
I'm just, they sell a product for $1,800. I don't even know what the wholesale price that is. There's not usually a whole lot in typically if we order a wholesale price rifle, we might make 10% off the top, but that doesn't include shipping. That doesn't include the other fees that we're going to pay. I mean, at the end of the day, on most firearms, we're making Summer, you can speak to this, what, 5% profit off
maybe
of those?
If we're lucky. Because the thing with that is, people will come in, and I even had it happen today. Oh, well, such and such is selling this same firearm for this price. And I'm like, well, that's literally my wholesale price.
Yeah, right.
And then you got to tack on what we get charged in credit card fees. Well, if I sell it to you for that price, I'm now losing money to sell you that
it's not worth it.
Piece of gear. Firearms are just not where the profit's at. And it is what it is. Hopefully we can make that up on another area. But there again, I will speak to this as well. Across the board, the margin is just not what people think it is. People will come in, they want a 20% discount, and then they want to pay with a credit card, and they want you to throw in a free t-shirt. And I'm like, at this point, you can just
or they're calling us on this, and they want free shipping, and they want this, and they want that.
Yeah,
and we get it, folks. And
that
is not a complaint.
No,
at all.
I ask for discounts too, but
I just think we need to. I think the public needs to be educated on that, and what you're doing on some of these companies, whether it's a company like Paramount Tactical or it's a company like Daniel Defense, is you're investing in a company that you want to stick around, right? And they're not just arbitrarily marking up prices just because they think they can get those, right? They also want to be as competitive as possible, but they still need to make a profit.
Right.
So,
and that's exactly where we are, and that's why it's so cool to have so many of you guys that have stuck with us through the years. I know those of you out there that want to see Paramount succeed as a company, as a brand, even our family. You guys know our kids, and just like Jason said, he didn't bat an eye when he bought his one-of-a-kind SIG from us. He didn't ask for a discount. And I'm not saying it's wrong to ask for discounts. Please don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah, it's not us complaining either.
It's not us complaining either. I just, what I'm trying to say is thank you to you guys that are there for us time after time, that shop with us, that come back to us and really support us as a company as a whole.
My point of this is I want you, the consumers, to realize just how under attack the firearm industry is from multiple sides, whether it's from the finance and baking side of it, absolutely under attack. We were just having this conversation with the guys at Fat Boy talking about how there's all kinds of weird things that are going on where they're tracking if you are attached. They're actually, he was talking about how he knows for a fact how they're, if you are attached to the firearm industry in one way or another,
like if your name is on an FFL as a responsible person,
or even a part of a business owner of a company that deals in those things, like they're having trouble getting mortgages and things like that
on the personal side.
On a personal
really
side. Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow. So and especially if things have changed dramatically under this administration, and people need to realize how important the freedoms that we are having and how much a presidential election does impact what's going on. I mean, it doesn't help when the election's stolen, but that's another podcast altogether. But the reality is that the firearms industry has never been more under attack, and it's never been more expensive to be in this business than it is now. And I was just sent let me pull this up. If you guys haven't seen this, thanks to James for sending this to me because I hadn't seen it.
I have some positive news on the
No, we're doing all negative stuff.
All negative stuff tonight.
Sorry.
If you guys haven't, I've looked at this, but I haven't read in full detail of it. But it is Bill HR 6981. Look that up. Basically, what they're trying to do is trying to ban any sort of training, any basic firearms training, basic to advanced firearms training.
That's the worst thing.
I know.
That's especially for Jay. That's the thing.
But the thing is,
we just have a bunch of ignorant people out there with guns, right?
We ain't going
to show you how to use it.
Hold on. But what you don't, again, you got to look back from a few steps. The more ignorant people that there are with firearms, the more dangerous things happen with firearms.
And then they have more reasons
the
to
more
take them away.
They can take those firearms away. And this is
wrong.
This is we need to realize there's some really smart people out there that are working against us and have a very clear, definitive strategy for removing firearms from the hands of law-abiding citizens.
I mean, it makes perfect sense.
So, we just need to wake up to this and realize that. And again, it's a tough business to be in. And again, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be doing as well as we are without every single one of you. So,
well, it sounds like you need to go out and get training while you can.
Absolutely.
And I saw somebody earlier, we never hit on it. And I'll point, I'm not pointing at Summer, but I'm going to tell you what they said, Summer. You might have seen it. They're wondering when the rest of the schedule's coming out for
Jesus,
training.
Chris.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's
I know.
but somebody put it in the comments. I just wanted to
point
point it out.
I'm waiting on Gary. I'm blaming.
I like that deflection. She just took a tennis racket.
I will take 100% of the blame. What I can tell you is that we will get the schedule out as soon as you can get the schedule out. It's as simple as, trust me. We would have loved to have been able to done that.
I think it was 2 months ago too.
And Mike Hen, I saw it.
Okay.
Both of you, both of you, choke yourself.
Jeff
not with your hand.
Bill bans training with groups more than 3 people.
Yeah.
Every firearms training class that's out there.
Okay, so it looks like from the comments, people want to switch to a more positive vibe. So I'm going to, because we're asking about new blades, what are we excited about in the next 1 to 3 years? So I'm going to share my positive news. So today, a San Diego judge struck down the California law that requires a background check to buy ammo. It said it was unconstitutional and a direct hit to the Second Amendment. So now
direct infringement on the Second Amendment, just like the NFA.
So previously I wasn't able to ship ammo to California because it had to be shipped to an FFL. You had to go buy, you do a background check, blah, 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 blah. I actually had to cancel some of the match grade ammo orders for the prime ammo that we have on sale. But now I can ship the ammo to California. So jump on there and buy some ammo.
Hooray! Babe, make sure you recontact those guys trying to order it and finish those orders.
I'll get right on digging through all those orders.
Sorry, sponsor.
You can do that. You can do that before 9. Let's get it done. Let's see. Throw up now Stefan's comment down here. Yeah. So here's the thing. You're absolutely right. We've gotten so far away from what we consider constitutional that nothing surprises me anymore. And the crazy thing is that we have, like the Ninth Circuit Court and a couple other loony courts out there on the federal side that are affirming these attacks on the Second Amendment that are clear violations. I don't know what the answer is. I've thought about this a lot the last few weeks. But we have dumbed down and watered down the Second Amendment like no other right that is outlined in our Constitution. We treat the Second Amendment as a second-class right. It's either a right or it's not. And this is the argument that I constantly have. Look, I am a Second Amendment absolutist. I think every single law-abiding citizen, as long as you've never broken the law, you should be able to buy full auto weapons. You should be able to buy suppressors. You should be able to buy. There is nothing that the way that this country was founded is just a fact that we were not intended where the people would not have access to the same things the government has. Obviously, once we get into aircraft carriers and things like that and high explosives, those are clearly not small arms and therefore not covered under the Second Amendment. But when we're talking about full auto weapons, we're talking about these things, either we are a government of, for, and by the people, or we are a government that is set up to where they will dominate the people. And when you are only allowing the citizens to have these less superior firearms, you're saying that the government should always be able to basically dominate the people and they are at the mercy of the government. And that is not how this country was founded on. You either believe that or you don't.
The government works for us.
The government is underneath the people.
Yes.
All right. They do not rule us. We rule the government. And that is how, like, we've got to start educating other people. We got to make sure that we're educating our children. Because we have gotten that thing so reversed that it is absolutely nuts in my mind. I talk to clear-eyed people, and we have been conditioned to believe that the government is better, smarter, all these things, and that is not how our founders intended that this country run.
But also as well, I think a lot of people don't believe that the government is better or smarter or knows better, but the government has gained so much power
100%.
that they rule in fear. they make the average American feel like I can come in, whether it be the IRS or the FBI or the ATF or whatever, I can ruin your personal life. I can take away your business. I can stop everything you do and have you out homeless on the streets if I so decide.
It's not a feeling. It's not a feeling. They can't. I think we all realize that if the government decided to target each and every one of us, the amount of different laws that we have on the books, at the end of the day, government comes in, they're going to find 10 felonies that you are guilty of, that you weren't even aware, that you're trying to be a good law-abiding citizen. There's so many different things that you can be charged with. And then there's so many things that they can charge you with that aren't true, that there's no way for you to fight it all. They're just going to stack those charges.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's not a feeling, it's a reality.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that's the way the people
100%,
feel.
No, 100%. And I don't know how to reset that. I don't know what the answer is, but I think that is something that we as a president,
it would take years to start stripping away those powers and reverse all that.
Oh my God. It'd probably be decades.
But we got to start somewhere.
Well, I think ultimately, again, if we're on the same, if we stay on the same trajectory that we're on now,
in the downhill one,
I just don't see how we don't have a civil war in the next 10 years. I just don't see it.
That's big words.
He's been saying that for
big words.
For a while now.
We have a government that is currently out of control. They're taking our money. They're looking for ways to take more money, and they spend it on things that we as American people don't agree with. We ship it overseas while we have all these problems here at home. We are putting our military at risk all the time with these bad policy decisions, us interfering in overseas. And you can look at the last 30 years of what we've done in wars and things like that, and we have nothing to show for it but broken America. And we've broken our people. We are in such debt that I don't even know that the 34 trillion or whatever, like, I don't even know if that's recoverable. Like, I don't know. I'm not a smart man, but I know it's a shit ton of money. And I don't know how we ever get away from that. And we're not spending less. It's never an idea that we're going to spend less. What it's always doing is we start off with the rich, milking the rich, taking all of their hard-earned money, and then it goes down to the middle class. And now here we are at the lower middle class. We're taxing them more. We're finding other creative ways to take money from them, from everything from, rules, regulations, taxation, the government is really good at coming up with creative ways to squeeze more money out of the American people. And this is exactly how the revolution started.
And give me a tinfoil hat here, but I was doing some reading the other night, and going back to the debt, I mean, everyone's aware that we do not have the gold reserves to back up the amount of debt we have. Nowhere close to it. But I also wonder, and I think this is the thought of quite a few people, if there's even the amount of gold at Fort Knox that they say there is.
Oh, that's a good conspiracy theory.
All right.
They have them, from my understanding, they have them in separate vaults and they have it all separated.
Yeah, what was the last president that went there, though?
Well, hold on. Hold on. Is there even a claim that we still have gold at Fort Knox?
Well, I think it was in 1970s.
Yeah.
They showed
that one picture of the one vault.
The right.
And so,
yeah. And so what I was reading the other night is that even when they do inventory, because they probably have different shifts of people doing inventory when they do their annual inventory or counting or stacking.
Is there an inventory?
Exactly. They're shuffling the gold from one room to another and then acting like each room has gold.
Oh, I'm sure there's not even close. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that there's any. There
might not be.
Honestly, I don't know that there's any claim that there is. I don't know.
They're the one president in the 70s.
I don't know.
It could have been fake
one tiny room.
It could be all fake in there too if they take a picture of it.
If they took a picture today, there's like one gold bar in the middle.
It's a small one like this, just sitting there.
It's all AI now, Gary. It's all AI.
Well,
we're gonna get Kubrick again.
And Nels has a good point. Fort Knox is not the only gold reserve. True, it's been moved to another location, but I still don't think there's the amount of gold that they even say there is. And even what they say there is not nearly enough to back up the amount of debt.
Maybe they have silver now.
I mean, we haven't even. there's no pretense that we're backing our money with gold. So they may not have touched any of it because what are they even using it for?
This day and age,
they probably shipped some to Iran.
But this day and age, they should probably just use copper. Many people stealing it anymore. Maybe that's what they're starting.
All those catalytic converters.
No, that's platinum in there. That's platinum. Maybe it's platinum and copper. Everybody's ahead of us.
Don't get the scientists back there started. Okay. Don't you dare.
I'm telling you all, it's platinum and copper.
I'm just gonna start sitting back here with Jason all the time. It's fun. We can giggle. Yeah.
It's platinum and copper. I tell you, the crackheads are on something.
Absolutely. What else were we talking about?
They're stacking it.
I mean, I know I just took us down a rabbit hole, but we'll come back out and we'll just discuss that another time.
Mouse Defiance. That's approximately, huh? 480 billion.
But that's my point. That's what they say.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. No, I knew there was never enough to cover the debt. I guess what I meant was, how much of that do they claim backs up the amount of printed money?
Right.
Well,
I got gold in my safe.
That's the thing. There's no claim that gold backs up anything right now. That's
do you have any gold?
I guess we're not on the gold standard anymore.
No,
when did we come off the gold standard?
And 71, 72 with Nixon. Nixon took us off the gold standard completely, right?
You got some in your safe, right?
Was Nixon
a good thing to
the
have.
same president that showed the gold in the vault?
I don't
supposedly?
know.
It was somebody back in there.
I think that was a James
It was like
Bond
74,
movie.
right?
Where they broke into
I think it was after. After Nixon, or was it Nixon? I forget.
Maybe I'm watching too much fiction and got my stuff all.
Going back to Ryan's.
Just sitting back there with
if we
Jason
go back
is
to
gonna get you
Ryan
confused what it
Swanson's comment, what are you excited for the next 1 to 3 years? I know we're a little backtracking here, but I'm trying to get us off the conspiracy route. I was thinking if there was a way
it was Nixon. Okay.
to incorporate all this AI that's
now
coming
you're talking
out
about a rabbit hole.
into like shooting stuff, like
couple decibels lower, Jay.
He's trying to yell
I don't
over
have the
someone.
headphones on. Sorry.
Here.
Okay, hold on.
He's got to stretch him back out to get on his head.
It's not like that helped earlier.
Well, so
You're still the same loudness.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're fine. Just talk normal.
Yeah.
So I'm
don't have to
interested to
yell at
see if in the next 1 to 3 years, if all this AI starts getting incorporated into, say, like
Yes, it will.
shooting platform.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. That's what I'm interested in. That's what I'd like to see.
AI is going to be incorporated into everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
just a fact.
again, like that would be that's something I'm like, I can't wait to see what AI can do.
Have you seen
for that.
Terminator Judgment Day?
Yeah, I'm in for that fight. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I want to turn into a metal guy. It'd be great.
Well, you already are, Jay, with all your muscles.
Yeah.
I'll turn into a metal guy. I'm only human, but I'm working on that. I ordered metal legs.
Jay's more like Mercury when it comes to metal.
Now Stefan says, I work in AI. No kidding. I work with mounting. Throw that up there. I can't see. I work with mounting 24Os and M2s on Boston Dynamics.
240s. 240s. For the infantry, man.
240s.
24 O's.
24
O's. 24Os. Well, even going back, I mean, it wasn't AI, but seeing how good, and I can only imagine how good they'd be if you incorporated AI. But when just going back to, the RWS, the remote weapon system, the Crows, man, with the thermals, whether you had a 240 up there, M2 or Mark 19, you get that stuff dialed in, make sure it's collimated right, make sure it's zeroed right. You could put, I remember we were like 2,800 yards out and I was putting a Mark 19 round through a small window at night, just using the thermals. I mean, the stuff, you laze it, it does all the ballistic calibration in there, all the ballistic solution in there. You laze it, hit the trigger, it automatically sends it. And that was before AI. I can only imagine what they're going to do when it comes to adding a predictive computer model into that weapon system. Going to be nuts and probably scary. We should definitely have access to AI too. I think that falls into the Second Amendment as well.
Read that.
Write that down. They created an AI to fight in a fight simulator and it let it fight other simulators and learn, then let it fight a really experienced pilot, like Top Gun level. And I'm sure that guy got smoked.
Yeah, he got smoked to everyone. Yep.
Well, I mean, you got to start asking yourself, why do we even have pilots at this point? At some point, we're going to be able to, obviously, and we already are.
They're going like this.
Yeah.
But once you remove the pilot, now that's the greatest weakness of an aircraft, right? Between pulling G's and being able to maximize on the capability of the aircraft, not limit it to the capabilities of the human. That's where things get a little bit crazy, and that's probably what UFOs are to begin with. We already got those guys.
No, they control the UFO telepathically.
I just want to jump in real quick and address the Bitcoin comment up there. Bitcoin will be the new standard. I don't know if I agree with that much, but have you seen the price of a Bitcoin lately?
43K.
$42,000 today.
Oh,
last
that's
time I checked, last time I checked, it was at like 19, which it's been like a few months.
Well, I saw 43
up into the 70s.
Well, that was
really?
Well, no, several years ago, it was extremely high. Then it dropped down to almost nothing.
Well, it wasn't almost nothing. It dropped from like 30 something to like 16.
I'm sorry.
The highest Bitcoin's ever been is 64.8.
64, yeah.
So the crazy thing is, and it's not a lot. Years ago, I was going to pay for something online, and it was like, oh, you can pay with Bitcoin on it. So I opened this little Bitcoin wallet and threw $50 in it. And I was like, oh, and then I forgot about it. I didn't end up purchasing whatever I was going to purchase. Totally forgot about it. Totally lost the wallet. And I recently gained access. It's 10 times what I had put in, which it was. I didn't put in much, but I was,
you got $500.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well,
and I'm like, should I leave it? Should I pull it?
We hid that from little old Gary Melton. I got extra
told
money
you about it.
I know. I'm just joking. It's funny.
No, but my problem with all like the Bitcoin stuff, it's only worth what they tell you it's worth, right? They can literally crash,
manipulate.
Well, that's the thing about Bitcoin is that
not true.
No, it is true, Jay. That is
You're telling me you can't make more digital money?
No.
Supposedly you can only mine so much.
There is a finite amount of Bitcoin, and that's why Bitcoin is more stable than all the other currencies, because all the other currencies are just that, they're artificial. Whereas Bitcoin, there is a finite that has ever been made, that will ever be made of Bitcoin. Do some research.
Just FYI, we did a podcast on this.
We did do that. Yep,
Yeah.
sure did.
I don't quite understand it.
I don't quite understand it either, but I know Jay's wrong.
There's no way they won't make more at a certain point.
No, there's only that much out there, Jay. That's the thing.
You can't make more Bitcoin.
You can't make more digital. You can't make
No,
more
you can't.
fake money.
I don't know. I don't know the answer behind it, Jay. I don't know the answer behind it, but I know for a fact that you cannot make more Bitcoin.
The guy that wrote the code made it where
That's a true story.
There's a max supply. The limit was introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto.
That's probably.
There's only 21 million Bitcoins out there.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin is going to ultimately be the underground. It's the only one that the government's not going to be able to control.
I'm saying in 2140, Bitcoin will be mined.
All right. So what I'm saying is that they can make any currency essentially, right? So if Bitcoin isn't the big thing, they can make a new digital currency. Oh, and this one's the next big one, and Bitcoin can completely crash because it's only worth what they tell you it's worth.
Well, that's the thing
right? So you could create a whole nother Dogecoin, for instance, right?
But it's also supply and demand. If there's a finite amount,
there's
still using it, then there's a value to that.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin has stayed more stable and still exists when there's a lot of other digital currencies that have come and gone and will come and go because nobody trusts them. It's not going to. There is no finite amount of those other ones. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm some digital currency expert. I'm not, but I do know.
Yeah, no, I am not.
I do know that Bitcoin, there is a finite amount. It's been explained to me one time. I don't remember garbage like that. So, that's where we are on that. What else outside of digital currency?
I was talking about AI into shooting platforms. So we digressed. We digressed.
What I will say, another cool thing that we have coming that I thought was pretty neat was some of the new helmets from Ops Corps. There's a lot of cool stuff that we're going to get some into those for display, and we'll do some content on those.
You talk about the new AccuTac mount as well?
Oh, I haven't talked about that.
And this is long awaited. I know we've had so many questions from people on this. Is AccuTac's coming out with a new mount that will be either ARCA or Picatinny, so you don't have to choose.
That is both.
It is both.
Integrally. That's
both. What I mean. Yeah. It's ARCA and Picatinny. It's both. And the cool thing is for people that already own an AccuTac bipod, you can retrofit the mount to your existing bipod. Yep.
So there you go, folks. You won't have to choose. You can mount it up with ARCA or PIC, either way. So Ops Corps, we'll be getting in some of those helmets. We've already ordered some of those helmets for clients in the past. Freaking super nice. I have a Team Windy helmets somewhere
on that one night.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the Ops Corps helmets have a lot of nicer design features, and the arc rail that they have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that I do. Their suspension.
I like Team Wendy.
Team Wendy's great. I think the Ops Corps are better, and they have some really good new armor features as well. They do have a new helmet that is a 3+, and it's basically the exact same weight as the level 3. So that was yeah, it's pretty slick, pretty slicks. Now Final City Celeste is Ops Corps helmet. Never gave it back. Good, you should.
Prank caller. We don't know
Jeff,
who you are.
Jeff, I can tell you the level 3+ helmets are like $1,800. And then, you know, they do sell bump helmets. I think those are around 800. Of the 3s, I think, are somewhere around the 1,400. I mean, any of the
those level 3s are closer to the 2.
The 2s.
Okay, somewhere around there. At $2,000 or less. What I can say is I don't mind spending a little bit more money on a bulletproof item.
I mean, when it's
I'm good. If I get shot, my head kill me.
That's like when me and my buddies were thinking about
I'll keep my $2 grand.
and we were thinking about looking on Amazon, looking on eBay, looking for parachutes.
I'm
like, it's probably not the best thing.
God said no more. That's it.
No more, Jason. That if you froze paper mache and put it onto a helmet, it will stop bullets.
It will stop 9mm.
That's right.
That's right.
Let's test that out.
No, we'll have full pricing on that, and we'll probably look at some other options, some cheaper options as well too. So
I'm going to tape phone books to my head.
We'll see if there's not enough phone books, Jay. That's a big old melon.
Hey Lee, we don't know when we're going to have those mounts in stock. We don't have any ETA of when they'll actually be shipping out from Accutac, but that's what they're releasing.
Yeah.
And yes, we are into night vision goggles already. I have PVS 14s available, I have PEG 15s available.
You still have
Come
those?
see me at the store.
We have some.
Sweet.
Definitely sold some.
Yeah.
Is that the one we played with outside?
800 for a belt bump helmet. I'm out too. I just get a ProTech, right? Get something like that.
I don't think you need anything on that dome for a bump helmet.
True.
Well, there is I will say there's a big difference between the suspension capabilities of a ProTech versus some of the nicer bump helmets.
I don't care. Do you see my neck area? I don't need suspension. It's not going anywhere.
Boy, stick.
This dome ain't moving far.
I'll tell you what, it's hard to find a dress shirt that'll button.
They're custom.
I was saying that's a 19 or 20 neck there, boy. Ain't no 17.
Babe, what else did we see at SHOT Show? Anything else you can think of?
Lots of weird people.
Definitely lots of weird people.
It was Vegas.
Special.
It was Vegas.
You
I'm pretty sure I came back high.
It was like being at somewhere between seeing operators and a Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
Jeff brought up a good question earlier. I forgot to hit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that booth.
Yeah. So you know, we have some PEC 15s that are available for sale if you're interested in those. And then definitely we'll be getting some mauls. We have already purchased and acquired mauls for some of our clients. You know, there's definitely a lot of other options out there. Didn't get to play with too much, but definitely saw at the Hollow Sun booth their new illuminator. Looks pretty impressive for the price point. I think they already have one out. I know some clients of ours had those and actually had one over here that's pretty good. You know, if you're just looking for the laser, there's lots of the laser designator. There's lots of good options out there where you see a big difference in quality is definitely with that spotlight. And I will tell you right now, if you've had any experience, and that's another thing that I want to do is we want to get to where we have not only are we offering night vision training, but you can actually come and test some of these products out, because it's hard to articulate and see where, like, Gary, why should I pay $3,500 for a maul when I can get, you know, this thing from Hollow Sun for $800 or $900, whatever it is. And maybe there's nothing that I could tell you, or nothing that you would use to where you could span that divide between those, but there's a big difference in capabilities between those. You know, if your only concern is being able to shoot and see something out to about 100 yards, you know, there's a lot of options out there, and I do plan on stocking some of those options. But I think the key is, number one, get people out to where they're training on some of these they can actually get their hands on, use, and figure out at what price point makes sense for them, and we'll ultimately have some options for that. But as far as usability and features, man, there's just hardly anything else out there that compares with the maul. It's just such a nice unit. The ergonomics of it, the ease of use. You're just going to spend so much less time training on that than you will some of the other ones. There's so many other buttons and switches, and none of it really makes sense. Not that all of that stuff can't be overcome with good repetitions, but ultimately it's hard. And I like the fact that the maul is a completely aluminum housing, extremely robust design on that. It's hard not to see. It's $3,500, between 35 and 38, depending on time and when you're buying it and who you're buying it from and all those other things. But man, it's I wouldn't want anything else, but I can understand why other people would want some of those cheaper options. And I do want to get some of those cheaper options so that I'm not just projecting my wants and needs on everybody else, and give them some other options that are a little bit more affordable as well.
Yeah,
and the same thing with night vision in general too. You can go to the moon and back with different nods, whether you're getting dual tubes, single tubes. You get crazy with some of the thermal overlays and things like that. In understanding, and it's such a nuanced difference between some of those that it gets a little bit convoluted, to say the least. What are you saying, Jason?
No, I was saying, like, when you're talking about that stuff and they had the ISLIDs there, stuff like that, and I was kind of like, are people buying these things? Because I know what we use them for, but I was like, is this a thing that people buy?
ISLIDs aren't commercially available.
Oh, they're not commercially. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, that's just mill, right? Mill LE. Okay, that makes sense.
The ISLID and the item that replaced the Dazzler, I forgot what it's called. But none of literally, there's only one thing that B. Myers makes that is commercially available, and that is the Maul C Plus, whatever it is. And so
it's a lower version. Yeah.
It is. It's an eye-safe version essentially. So you have the LE version and the military version, same exact thing, just different designation, but those are the higher wattage ones. So
right, yeah. I remember when they put the little stop in our when you were in the infantry, they put the little stop so you couldn't go to full power.
Yeah.
Right. And
they put a little bump stop on the knob.
Yeah. Well, we have mauls. I mean, we have a PEC 15 over there. You can grab one, and those are regulated ones. So
I was like, where are you going with this?
The same screw that's in that was in the ones we had, and we never took them out.
Yeah.
I did when we deployed. I ended up taking those out, and I kept them on the full power. But I know a lot of guys didn't. I was like, oh wow, this is a lot brighter when you're getting twice. Instead of what is it, like 5 milliwatt, now it's 10 milliwatt. I mean, there's a big difference.
No. So like in the infantry, we had the little bump thing on there, and God forbid your soul if you ever remove that thing. Yeah. But like on teams, they were always just open. Like I can go to whatever setting I wanted to.
Yeah. I don't know why those are there. I guess so.
Saves battery life.
It does save battery life.
For sure. For sure.
And in the infantry, guys will be burning their own retinas.
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Like, I can't see the light on, right?
Why is it not working?
Like, and they just look directly into it.
That's
sure.
That's the Marine Corps safety feature.
That's legit.
They'll be like, I can stare at this thing for 30 seconds and it does nothing to me.
I can do it for 45 seconds.
Yeah,
they look up, their eyes all like milked over. I'm fine. I can still see just fine.
Yeah.
I should have done that with a non-dominant eye.
The forbidden screw. Yes.
Crayon button.
Bravo Force Loose says, just like Z Code, Knife Force, Loophole, Zeiss, Burris all have different price points and different quality. Absolutely. And again, once you start getting into those upper tiers, you're paying a lot more for very incremental increases in quality and performance. You really are. I mean,
it's just Tasco on that list.
It's not there. That's why. Yeah. That was omitted.
It's unfortunate.
Purpose.
Ryan Swanson asked about 5.7.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just looked it up.
So
the Palmetto 5.7. He said, I didn't realize they made one yet.
Yeah, so they do. I very much like a 5.7.
You bought that one.
I did.
And it's fun to shoot.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
No,
but
phenomenal. Old Elijah Craig over here keeping me company.
But no, I got on PSA's website. It's 360 optic ready. I mean, with it's 23+1. That's a wild pistol for the price point.
I'm a big fan of 5.7.
For
it's
something to plink
expensive to shoot.
Yeah, it is.
So like something to plink with. That's not the terminology I would use.
Right? Well, Jay, no, it depends on everybody's.
Right. It's price is relative, right?
Price is relative. I mean, look at Gary's back wall here.
Well,
price is relative.
So first of all, price isn't relative. The affordability is relative.
There we go.
Hey, I got relevant questions back here.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
No, I was asking Jason. I was like, the thing with 5.7 is probably like, how easy is it to find holsters and things like that?
Yeah. So
this looks like it's built on the same platform as their standard size, though.
So especially if you get a light or anything for it, you're not going to find a holster for it.
Yeah, there's been problems with holsters. I will say, G Code is very good. You can call them up and they'll make you a custom holster for whatever you got.
The PSA looks like it's built on the Dagger platform, and they changed the barrel out. Essentially, is all it looks
I'm
like.
sure that's exactly what
G Code. If you give them a call, they'll build a holster out for you if you got one of these new 5.7s. But I very much like that round.
Smith 5.7, didn't you?
Yeah, I do.
That's a sweet little gun.
Oh man, it's great to shoot. It's so good.
Yeah, like MixBook said, custom Kydex is fairly easy to find.
Shoot, there's a guy in Hedgesville does them. That's like on Facebook.
Yeah, it's
gonna be okay.
I say it's easy to find, but then finding a guy like depending on what hanger, if you're already invested in whether it's an RTI, whether it's
is he going to have everything to match up?
Yeah, like it can get.
You could be in Safari Land. Is he going to be able to get onto your belt?
Yeah, I haven't seen the PDW, Ryan. I haven't done any research on that.
Me. What else? Anything else from Shot Summer? Nope. Got to spend a lovely week with me. She got to get up on some of this
in the warmth.
Oh, dear, I'm so sorry.
With our own hotel room without kids.
We did.
Oh God.
Was you in the honeymoon suite? Had the hot tub in the room?
Actually, yes, we had a tub in the room.
We had
just joking.
And Elvis singing in the background.
It was a heart shape.
It wasn't heart shaped,
but it was a very classy room.
It was
with a tub.
We had a nice room.
At least a 2-person tub in the room, right?
It was definitely a 2-person tub. We had a sweet. No, it was pretty good.
Sweet, huh?
Yep. Well, folks, I think we will go ahead and cut it off there. Look, we really appreciate all you guys. We're working on the schedule. Hopefully we'll have it up.
New t-shirts to wear.
Hopefully we'll have that up soon. In the meantime, definitely go finish out filling up the XP Long Range Academy courses. We definitely want to see you guys there. We want to make sure that's a huge success. So far it has been. We want to finish out those courses. We plan on potentially adding some additional courses, as well as Ray and I right now are working on some DMR course content. We want to get at least one of those up this year. Still working out some of the details of that, without a doubt, trying to figure out how we're going to run that, and what the real question is, the prerequisites for that. That is going to be a little bit challenging because now you're kind of getting into doing carbine stuff, AR platform type stuff. You definitely need some experience on that, but then we're also delving into long range stuff as well. So it gets a little odd, and we want to make sure we do it right. So we're still working out some of those things, but look for that as well. Yeah, folks, again, we always appreciate the support. If you want to support us, you can go to Patreon. Definitely make sure you guys have liked, subscribed, throw a comment down below. And again, once this video goes, we cut off the live stream. It's going to repost as a standard video. All these comments are going to go away. Hit like and all that other good stuff. We're still going to get demonetized. They demonetize everything. We're just used to it at this point, but we appreciate the support. Go buy from us. If there is, folks, here's the thing. You guys have heard the sales pitch on the Caracals. You've heard the sales pitch on the Thunder Beast RRs. If you're interested in those, shoot us an email and as a pre-order, helping us out and filling those and make sure that we can get those paid off as quickly as possible. Maybe we can do something to help you out as well.
And y'all do payment plans, I've seen too.
We do payment plans as well.
That's a huge thing. If you don't have it all up front, they do payment plans.
We do payment plans on the website.
Yep.
So that's something that we try to be as user friendly as possible.
A lot of places don't do that.
Nope. So we're here for you. If you have questions, if you do have questions on the Swordens, and again, we plan on getting some of the Ops Core Ear Pro in as well. We will make sure that we have all the information for you. So we'll get all that stuff. It's coming, and lots of content on the Caracals as well. I'm excited about both those platforms. Super stoked about it. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you guys. But until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.